Hey y'all, by the time you watch this video, it's highly likely that Ashes of Creation has launched into early access on Steam. With thousands of new players coming to the game, this guide will help all you new players get up to speed quickly, and there might even be some stuff in here for you vets as well. Because there is an NDA for stuff on the PTR and I didn't record very much of my gameplay during the last phase, I don't have accompanying visuals to go along with these tips. So that said, let's get to it. Right now, you can respec at any time with absolutely no cost. You can hit the respec button that's in the skills window, the default button is K, and undo all of the points you've spent, or you can just right click on any ability that you've already purchased to get refunded that one skill point. Take advantage of this. Try all the different skills. There are definitely some skills out there that are better than the others. In Ashes of Creation, you can equip two weapons, one melee and one ranged. Now, logic would dictate that only the stats for the weapon that you're currently actively wielding would count. But logic has no place in video games. The stats on both of your weapons always count, so make sure you always have the best weapons you have available in each slot. The default auto attack mode is basically one button push or one mouse click, depending on which camera mode you're in, is one swing of your weapon for basic attacks. But there are numerous settings to change how this works. The most popular being the one that allows you to just press the button one time and your character will continue to attack in between your skill usages until you stop it or the target is dead, much like World of Warcraft. Spend a few minutes looking over the options and pick what works best for you. Mounts work very differently in Ashes of Creation. In most games, you get a new mount, it goes into your inventory, you right click it, it disappears out of your inventory, and it adds it into some UI that shows all of your available mounts. Not in Ashes. The mounts that you have in your inventory are all of your available mounts. You've got to drag and drop it out of your inventory onto your hotbar to summon or desummon it. Once you've summoned a mount, it's in the game world, even when you aren't writing it. It stays in the world until you desummon it, you get too far away from it, or it dies. If you run off and forget about it and it dies, it puts it on a 10-minute cooldown timer during which you have to use a lesser mount like some kind of a medieval peasant, and that's if you have a backup. If you don't, you have to run everywhere you go like Forrest Gump. And it's not just mobs that can kill your mount. Other players can as well. While this isn't very likely to happen very often during normal gameplay, if you find yourself in one of the game's many opt-in PvP environments, people absolutely will kill your mount. And keep in mind, if you want to go out there and kill someone else's mount, that doing so to non-flagged players will result in your character becoming corrupted, which has numerous penalties, including stat dampening and the ability to lose some of your equipped gear. The default keybind for flagging for PvP is to hold Alt-F. As with several other things on this list, there are numerous settings you can tinker around with that alter how flagging works. Take a few minutes to figure out the ones that work best for you. Ashes has two camera or combat modes, Action and Tab. I don't even remember what the default key to switch between them is because I changed it on day one and never looked back. It might be T or Z. Check in the settings. If you're like me and like to switch between them a lot, might I suggest the mouse wheel? Not scrolling it up and down, but literally pressing it. It makes a great out-of-the-way yet convenient key if you aren't already using it for something else. Ashes just introduced a new Destiny system that serves as kind of a tutorial or an onboarding to teach many of the game's systems. The default key to access the Destiny panel is L. I highly suggest taking the time to do them. They will help you get XP, money, and gear. The artisan ones in particular give great artisan gear if you're the crafty type. Questing in Ashes, exists? Like, it's there, and sometimes it even works? Outside of the quest line that you start with, doing a quest is always a risk. You could finish it in 20 minutes and get an awesome necklace, or you could spend 4 hours trying to figure it out only to discover that it's bugged. It's mostly best to avoid them at all costs right now, unless you're specifically testing them. Ash's bag system is pretty unique. You can equip up to 3 bags, and there are different bag types that have different shapes and different stack sizes. I'm sure that you'll figure it out as you go along, but just to save you some time in the early game, unless you plan on doing a lot of lumberjacking, just getting 2 mining bags is the best space-wise. Or 1 mining and 1 lumberjacking if you think you're Paul Bunyan. Gold is super important in this game. It drives everything. You're going to want endless amounts of gold, and you're going to want to find a method of making money sooner rather than later. And don't spend it recklessly early on. You will regret it down the road. That said, one easy way to make some decent money in the early game is selling mats on the marketplace. Go to a settlement and look at what others are selling for and match those prices or even slightly undersell. Even if it's just a few copper per mat more than what you could get for selling it to the vendor, it's worth it. But keep in mind, markets in this game are settlement specific. This game doesn't, and it won't ever have a global auction house. What's for sale at a specific settlement's market is specific to that settlement, meaning you can find better or worse items at other locations, as well as better or worse prices. Plan accordingly. The top level gear in this game is crafted. There are some world bosses and dungeons that drop some pretty nice stuff, but in order to make the absolute best stuff, you've got to visit your local crafter, and probably several of them, because it takes numerous professions to make gear. It's not as simple as visiting a weaponsmith if you want a weapon made. It might take some stuff made by a weaver, and then some stuff made by a lumber miller, and getting a smelter to make some ingots, and then getting all of that over to your weaponsmith to make the final product. So whether you're just looking to craft something for yourself, or you're trying to get something crafted for you, it pays to know the crafting community in your settlement really well. Speaking of crafting mats, another thing Ashes does that defies traditional MMO logic is making low-level mats useful much later. For example, copper, the first mining metal you're likely to encounter, is used in making some of the best swords currently in the game. Don't go selling your tier 1 mats just because you've out-leveled tier 1 gear. And if you're into the crafting thing, might I suggest using your main character as purely a gatherer and shuffling your mats to a second and maybe even third character that stays parked in your settlement. Processing materials takes time, and it makes you feel like you're tied to your settlement instead of being out there adventuring. This way, you can adventure on your main, swap real quick to queue up more crafting, and then get back to the adventuring. While you're out adventuring, grouping is the best way to level. Because questing is not great, the most reliable way to get XP is to get with a group of people. Y'all go find a nice spot in a point of interest somewhere with multi-starred enemies that are a few levels higher than you, and grind. You can do it solo, but it's a lot slower, and frankly, it's a lot less fun. You got to be careful with the level ranges though. You get no XP if you're 10 or more levels plus or minus from the mobs you're killing, as well as anyone else in your group. So stick to mobs and group members within 9 levels of you. Drops also kind of work like this, with the best gear drop chances happening when everyone in the group is within 3 levels of the mob y'all are killing. You can use this fact to your advantage to grind glint. Find a nice high density and high respawn rate group of mobs somewhere that is 9 levels below you. They're so far below you, you can gather tons of them up at a time, murder ball them all down, and they all still drop glint. It's a great way to make early money. If you're gonna try to make money by gathering and selling, or if you just want to gather for your own crafting needs, consider rolling a cleric. Because of the ability to heal themselves, they can venture into areas early on that many other classes can't, allowing you to get to unmolested areas of the map. Speaking of healing, there is a setting that allows you to change the party frame into a raid frame, and it's much more convenient for healing. And there are numerous other settings around healing as well, such as hover healing, so if you're a cleric, spend a few minutes in the settings before you get your party killed. And last, fishing is a great AFK activity in this game. Not the new sport fishing, that's a very active activity. But normal fishing is literally a set it and forget about it thing until your character auto logs due to inactivity. You need to go clean your room? Fine. Set up your character to fish and go get that chore done. You come back and you have a bag full of fish that, if absolutely nothing else, you can sell for some quick cash, or you can save for crate runs, or even better, you can make that sweet crafting food everyone will be after in the late game. There you go, guys. I hope these tips help you out on your very first day in Verra, and keep an eye on this channel for lots more great guides for Ashes.